And we're back. They cannot keep us down for long. Hopefully we are not down currently. But, technology, be what it may. We used to have this problem all the time, and I haven't had it in a long time, so I forgot how to do it. We are hardwired in. We are fast speeds. We should be good to go. Please let me know if we are not as soon as possible, and then we will just go kill ourselves. But we will stitch these together in the aftermath. Sorry, whatever happened to the first episode, but let's just jump back into, most importantly, Ben talking about the Emo Caucus. If you want to go ahead and start over from there, we can keep going.
Sure. So the metal scene, the music scene, the emo punk rock scene, that kind of just represents me. I've been part of the music scene for a very long time. I toured in a band for over 8 years all across the country. We played at Warped Tour in 2015. Had a lot of good times with that. But the people in that scene kind of just really represent me. And I know I formed a lot of my political views from the music I listened to when I was a young teenager. So I know how important music can be in developing anti-government political views and all that. So when I was at Reno, I saw all the cool caucuses, and I mean, not really all of them were that cool, but like
I was gonna say, are they all
yeah.
cool?
Not really cool. I'm just being really nice. Like I don't really care about the pro wrestling caucus. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But nothing was representing the emo kids or the music scene at all, and I kind of wanted something that represented artists in general, somewhere that people like me that are like, coming to the LP, like as an anarchist. I came in as an ANCAP and trying to figure things out when I got here. But it'd be really nice to just have somewhere where everyone can go and just like listen to music, not worry about the inter-party politics side of things, because that shit is just absolutely exhausting and completely turns off people who are new to the movement. And I just want to bring them in, like let them have a place that they can share music or things that they like, not care about the inter-party politics stuff at all, and just kind of have fun. And with that, I've kind of been going to shows and flyering a little bit, handing out Live Free or Cry business cards and flyers to join the white-pilled emo revolution. That's kind of where this thing started. This is where it's going. I'd like to start like tabling festivals and hopefully tabling some conventions next year. There's been a lot of stuff that stemmed out of this too. Like I personally helped recruit 3 different presidential candidates for the LP. So,
really? Who all?
Who all?
Yeah.
Josh Smith, Toad, and Franz.
Oh, yeah. Right on, man. Yeah, I just want to say, like, the idea, the Emo Caucus idea, like I said, I don't know if it made it into the first cut of this episode, but I'm jealous that I didn't think of it first, because I think it is brilliant. I think it is great to have something that is a niche market for the people that are libertarians but aren't necessarily going to be delegates and go to all the rallies and whatever, do all the politicsing, which is kind of me. Like, I do the libertarian stuff mostly for the art's sake of it. A lot of times that becomes political with the campaign messages or the campaign ads and stuff like that. But you had the first emo night at PorkFest this year, and it was, I think, my favorite thing at PorkFest. And we had like Vivek Ramaswamy and RFK and all these big cheese names and everything. And I'm just like, even though like it wasn't much, there wasn't much to it. It was just emo music, but just having that community of people where it's like we're all pretty libertarian, we're all libertarian enough to be at PorkFest, but also there's this next level of connection and camaraderie where we all like this music that society generally shits upon.
No, absolutely. It was a great time. We had some mosh pits, and I brought my lights. There was a cool like light show, so a lot of people were just like tripping out on acid in the back half the time. Karen and Harlos was there watching the whole thing too. She was having a blast with that. She's emo at heart, I guess. So, it was a good time, and a lot of good feedback from that. I'm hopefully going to do it again next year. Well, I'm actually already booked to do it again next year, at the Pavilion again. I'm going to have a hub for the Emo Caucus where I'm hoping we can have even a tattoo artist come and do tattoos.
That'd be awesome.
hopefully yourself and punk rock libertarians could come and maybe do a live podcast or something, stuff like that. And I'm going to have a couple of like, bigger name musicians that are libertarians, come and hopefully do a speech or just talk or hang out, and maybe even play like a little show or something. So
will the Franz be there? You gonna get the Franz?
I'm like pretty sure I'll be able to get Franz to come to PorkFest. Yeah,
that'd be dope. Yeah, I dig it, and we're gonna talk more emo stuff in the after party, but we're here primarily to talk about the Franz. So you got Toad and Josh, or you played a part in getting them into the game.
In the Emo Caucus group, I made a post back in early June, and I said, like, really, guys, like, these are who we have. Like, can anybody from our group step up? And I just asked the question, and Josh said, I'll do it. And I messaged him on the side, and he's like, yeah, we need someone to represent the emos. And then I hadn't really heard from him in a little bit, so I thought he kind of forgot about it. And then I was hanging out with Toad at PorkFest, and Toad's like, I'll do it. Free tear gas for Israel, dude. Like, make the Israel emo again. And I was like, dude, this is perfect. We're gonna do this. And then slightly after, Josh announced again, and I love those guys. They're great. They're cool dudes. And I support them completely. And back in June as well, I had reached out to several like bigger name artists that consider themselves libertarians, that aren't involved with the party necessarily, but have libertarian ideals and really align on things 95% of the way. And they don't believe in the two-party system. They're anti-government.
95%, 95.
90 to 95%.
That's not quite real libertarian territory, I don't think. But continue.
Maybe if you're like a party libertarian, maybe it's not. Yeah. But the vast majority of our messaging shouldn't be just reaching people that are in our party. So,
sure.
So that's where I was at. So I reached out to several bigger artists, and truthfully, I'll.
Did you throw Toad under the bus?
No, absolutely not. I support Toad all the way. Anything that he posts that is emo related, that's presidential related, I support it and share it through the Emo Caucus page. He's just not mad because Franz got like 2 million views in one day on his stuff. I mean, people are.
Franz does seem to have a little bit more of a following than Toad from Twitter. Sorry, Toad.
For sure.
From Tower Gang. Toad from Tower Gang. Let's, we'll give him props.
He's got more of a following than all the rest of us too. So.
Me and him want to go to concerts and stuff. Toad is emo as fuck too, and I love that dude. He's got the best one-liners in the game. He really does. And but yeah, like in terms of like the candidates, Franz got back to me, and we were texting, and he said, I'm in. And I said, okay, well, I'll try to make this work.
So let's get into it. What was the thing that led you to reaching out to Franz in the first place? You said some of these people had libertarian leanings. What was, like, I'm not super familiar with the guy and his history or anything. I mean, some of his degeneracy does seem to lend itself to libertarianism quite a bit. But other than that,
So he's got a very thick skin. His entire life, he's faced an uphill battle, a lot of controversy his entire life. That's just libertarian, I guess, in general. He's very anti-censorship, pro-free speech. A lot of his songs are about like fuck bitches, get money, and take that for what you will. He's not a rapper.
That's not libertarian. That's not libertarian at all.
No, not necessarily. No, not unless
they don't do either of those things.
Brothels and capitalism, he's worked with Eric July in the past. And Craig from Escape the Fate, who are both libertarians, and it really just took me kind of reaching out to him and talking to him about it. And
he made known his political leanings beforehand? Like, had he talked about libertarianism at all?
He calls himself a libertarian, and he told me specifically if the Libertarian Party didn't exist, he would be a Republican. But he doesn't think the Republican Party represents him at all, and neither does the Democratic Party. So he finds himself in a weird spot. And truthfully, like, he's not an anarchist. That's pretty obvious in some of his stances, which for a lot of people like me who are an anarchist might have considered that a disqualifying thing.
Sure.
But
what do you mean by, like, what are some of his stances? Because I haven't seen any, like, real
people are
issues
taking
put out there.
the welfare warp tour post way too fucking seriously, dude.
That's just the autism of libertarians right there.
It
They
is,
don't
man.
understand what jokes are. Yeah,
That's true.
It is.
Yeah,
I mean,
of all the
Franz
things in
has been
that
talking about
video,
buying
that
Warped
was the
Tour
least
for
concerning
years.
to me.
I know. It's such a there's nothing there.
A libertarian would never spend federal dollars to put on a show. They would never do that.
Right. Well, and then,
Awful.
like,
Sorry.
yeah.
I mean, if
Undervalued.
we can choose between like Trump's like military parades that are like millions and millions of dollars, or just Warp Tour for however much that is, I'm saying I'd rather have my tax dollars go to that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's fund art and music and less war and less
Absolutely.
cops for sure.
Yes. Now, let's go ahead and watch the video real quick for those that aren't familiar of Franz's announcement from last week.
Today is the biggest day of my life. My name is Chris Fronzak, and I'm running for president of the United States.
This dude is a vocalist in a band. Does he not have a microphone?
We've talked about it. His second follow-up video was actually pretty good. I don't know if you saw that.
I haven't.
He came out with it after your show last week.
Okay.
I can tag you in it real quick if you wanted to see it. But
Sure.
it's, yeah, he had some audio issues for sure. He's on the road a lot and traveling a lot. So
I get it. Also, this music. I mean, I'm a video guy. So, Ben, did you watch our after party from last week?
I didn't get a chance to. No. I've been
Perfect.
so busy.
Then all these arguments will be new and fresh to you.
Yeah.
You know, the audio is bad, but more so the political music in the background that is almost louder than his voice it upsets me.
States of
Oh,
America.
yeah.
I am not a politician, but let's face it, the world has never been helped by politicians. The government is corrupt. We don't need any more politicians running the show. We need real people, real critical thinkers. We need a candidate that represents the American population. I came from nothing, and because of the American dream and my God-given talents, I was able to build an empire. I want to make America a better place for everyone. I represent every single person in this beautiful country, and I want to make sure your voice is heard. That's why I believe you should vote for me to be President of the United States of America.
I mean, was he going for funny?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of irony in this for sure.
I mean, it's hard to tell because his message is basically from this video, and I want to watch the next one. It'll be
I just sent it to you in a message, but yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, his message here, from what I can gather, is you're a real dude. I'm a real dude. Politicians aren't. Vote for me. It's like
I'm a dude. You're a dude.
Right.
He's a dude. We're all
Honestly,
dudes.
I
Good
feel like
burger.
that might resonate. It's not my guy so far, but I feel like that might resonate, which is it's not a good state of affairs. But you're a dude.
No.
I'm a dude. We enjoy beer.
We're all
Let's
dudes. Hey.
fucking get this. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it's not American beer.
Right.
That was another funny, cringy thing that people were freaking out about. Like,
Yeah.
who gives a fuck?
Was that intentional? Was it to make like I don't know? How much of this is a
He
troll? Because some
probably
people have
just
compared it
likes
even to like
Modelo.
Vermin Supreme at this point.
Modelo's
Like,
one of the most drank beers in America. Like, this is not news.
right.
So
I'm just
you
saying,
could
if
just like
if
Modelo.
some of these cheesy things are intentional to make the people lose their mind and get the clicks up, I'm all for it and respect that. It doesn't feel that way, and so it's a little cheesy. But we'll go and watch the second one here before we dig too much deeper. Let's see.
I'm Chris Fronzak, and I'm running for President of the United
Get a
States
tripod,
of America.
Chris.
I'm running as a libertarian because I don't believe that the two-party system best represents most people. I love my country. This country allowed me to come up from nothing and build an empire. The government is corrupt and evil, and it gets in the way of good people from chasing their dreams and building their own empires. I am not an anarchist, and my campaign is not a purity test. I am running because America deserves a candidate that fights for their personal freedoms. I don't care if you hate me. If you don't like me, don't vote for me. I'm here to help people and make this country a better place. Talk shit all you want. You can't shut me down. My announcement video got over 1 million views in less than 24 hours, and that tells me that America is ready for someone like me, a non-politician, to take the lead and fix this mess of a country. I'm here to spark a revolution. I'm here to start a fire. Make America mosh again.
I can't say I don't like him.
I'm torn. I'm really torn.
He seems like I think
I'm here for the ride.
He...
I'm here for the ride. Just, I mean, I worked on the Vermin Supreme campaign, so I've seen some people comparing this to like Vermin Supreme coming in and being like not libertarian enough, but he's got the following, so people supported him, and then we ended up with a bunch of tankies in the party. That is a legitimate concern, even though he's got a big following. But I was along for the Vermin ride at the time, and you know, I'm not unable to be convinced. But
Ben, I'd rather have a bunch of metalheads and emo kids than tankies, though.
And bootheads.
Does he believe that though? Does he believe like that he could? He sounds like he believes he could win because America. He said America's ready because they don't want a politician anymore. So
I mean, America is ready for a non-politician to run for president. This is no secret.
This is quite a leap, though.
I mean,
non-politician. Let's go with
that
guy.
anyone outside of the system can possibly win an election. Yeah. Nobody thinks that. Okay. Nobody thinks that.
Yeah, if he's honest about it, that puts him a step above. I believe a couple libertarian candidates at least. That's a big thing for me and Dave. If you're saying I'm gonna win and this is how I'm gonna do it, I'm like, full stop. You're not gonna win. Now, if you can't be honest, then the conversation's over.
No, for sure. Yeah.
So,
like, let's be realists here.
Yeah. Now, with this guy, there's been some things that have come out as well. The only Franz stuff was, I mean, you saw my meme and it's pretty accurate. I was like, yeah, let's have some fun. And I was like, I don't know if that's the fun I want to have. Do you want to defend? First of all, would you like to explain to our humble audience what the rest of us had to witness from your candidate and then defend it? Go ahead. Happy birthday.
I actually don't really think that this even needs defending. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like, you know, like it's pretty libertarian take that, you know, sex work should be decriminalized. He's a sex worker. Sure, he does porn on the side and he makes more money doing that than he ever did making music or selling merch or with his record label.
That is sad.
The dude's paying cash for like Lamborghinis and shit. And like a lot of this money's coming from his OnlyFans, dude. So like,
does he still do it?
Monetize it, man. Like this is capitalism.
Is he still doing the OnlyFans, or was that a COVID thing?
Still does. He still has an OnlyFans. I don't know if he posts on there. I would never pay for pornography. So
of course,
I think that's, for me, that's silly to me when you can just free titties everywhere. But
I mean, I found plenty of pictures of his lightning bolt tattoo on the internet. I didn't have to look that hard. It is exactly where you think it is. If that picture was accurate.
Oh God. Didn't even need to know that. But
you want to rethink it, buddy? No, you're good. Yeah.
I honestly,
you didn't tell me you had a tattoo on your dick, bro. I didn't agree to this.
Well, that's funny because when I was 16, I got my dick tattooed. Actually,
did you?
Yeah, and it's weird because like when you get your dick tattooed, it has to be hard when you do it. So
Ben, are you fucking with me right
Wendy. No, it looks like it says Wendy, but it actually says "Welcome to Jamaica. Have a nice day." Sorry, that was so fucking retarded.
Yeah, he had that one in his back pocket, ready to fucking launch
that out. Yeah. No, man. To me, the sex work thing, like, it's a huge nothing burger. Like, I get why people wouldn't want somebody who does this to represent them for president.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, cool.
I understand that.
That's really all it is.
He understands that too, man. You know, but at the same time, like, this is nothing, dude. Like, I could care less that he is making shit tons of money, making porn in his free time. It's cool. Like, it's fine with me.
I don't know, man.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, you make the argument of libertarians are generally pro sex work and stuff, and yeah, like pro meaning not illegal, but not pro
decriminalized.
Go suck your own fluids out of a woman and then post about how proud you are and how delicious it was on the internet. It's not even just that it's porn. I mean, we're talking like
it's degenerate,
serious ew factor.
Oh man, it's cool you're buying cars with cash, bro, but felching is fucking gross.
Nobody asked him to do that. Who wanted that? Who was paying for that specifically? That content.
I don't know, man. It's fucking nuts. And
lots of people.
I would never watch somebody do that or do it myself.
Meredith says, fake super chat. Happy birthday, Ben.
Thanks,
Yes.
Meredith.
Did you see yourself celebrating you said 34th birthday, right?
Yeah.
Did you see it going this way?
No, I mean, it's going fine though, to be honest with
Cool.
you. I'm going to go have a great fucking time at a show tonight and
Good.
probably get absolutely wasted. So
Right on, man. Yeah, and we're not here to be like too hard on you, not just because it's your birthday, but I mean,
go harder, dude.
Was part of the deciding factor, like, is there a little bit of troll mentality in you for putting this guy up? Because I mean, I feel the same way about like Josh and some of the other edgier people that I've pushed in the past. I mean, Joe Exotic is the guy that I'm currently pushing, so I'm not here to be like, this guy isn't professional enough for the Libertarian Party, but like, was there a level of troll factor, or do you think that this guy is going to be able to get the delegates, become the candidate, and make an impact?
I mean, my entire goal for the Emo Caucus is to bring people into the party from the music scene and vice versa. All right. Like I want the music scene to be filled with people who are liberty minded, and I want the same thing to happen in the other spectrum there. So for me, this started out as a way for me to try to get metalheads, musicians, emo kids to come and be welcomed into a place that is the fuck you vote, because a lot of these people care about that. So for me, that's kind of what this started as. I don't think there's any like unrealistic expectations here. I'm like, hoping he gets delegates in DC. I'm not going to be unrealistic though and say that he has the chance of getting all the delegate votes to be the nominee necessarily. But from an outreach perspective and from a Libertarian Party's perspective, really for like, I'm going to tell you kind of what I've been telling other people too. If we had somebody like Vince Vaughn or Rob Schneider come over, and I mean, these aren't probably perfect libertarians. I mean, Rob Schneider's a lot closer than probably Vince Vaughn would be, but will we give them this purity test and try to expect them to be all the way there? Or do we like,
depends. Do they have an OnlyFans? I don't know. Like there's different layers.
That is the thing.
I've heard the argument that we've seen enough of Vince Vaughn in Wedding Crashers. So, I mean, I don't know.
That movie is fantastic.
Truthfully, this campaign isn't going to be a purity test. He's not, he calls himself a libertarian. He does have a lot of views that align with ours, like almost all the way, with the exception of maybe one or two. Mm-hmm. And even those views, some libertarians think those are very libertarian. So like, they're not my flavor of libertarians, but it is, that's just the truth of it. So I'm not being unrealistic. I'm not expecting a huge blowout victory here, but I do understand that he has the ability to reach more people than any candidates on the table right now, period. And we should be championing that and not scaring him away.
That's what they said about Gary Johnson too, though.
Dude, I get it, man. But Gary Johnson, man, if he didn't bring in Bill Weld into his campaign would have looked a lot different. Yeah. I think I would shit on Gary Johnson a lot less if he didn't have Bill Weld beside him. Truthfully, I do think that. He wasn't a perfect libertarian either, but what do we have to lose, man? We're not even getting like 2% of the vote, and I doubt we're going to get 2 to 2.5% of the vote this year with how contested this election is going to be. So, and I'm not even trying to chase votes. Like that's just stupid to me. I'm not a vote chaser. The vote chasers should have left the party with Joe Jorgensen, my opinion. And
seems like a lot of them did.
I know. And like I said, my personal agenda and goals with this is to infiltrate the music scene on a level that's never been done before. And I've got people beside me like, Phil Abante, who's kind of helping to bridge the gap here with Franz and the Libertarian Party and libertarian views as well. So that's been good to talk to him a little bit as well.
If it was Phil Labonte, I would be more
He would never do that. I asked him if he would be his VP, and he's like, absolutely the fuck not.
Not worth the heat.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah.
Phil's this established, movement figure.
And Phil, to my understanding, has more of a background in outspoken on politics with his involvement with Tim Pool and all that too. But whatever. So with this guy, you said that that you were trying to, what was you said something about the emo white pill or something like that.
Yeah.
I kind of see where you're coming from on that, but also like there's a bit of a black pill in what do we got to lose mentality, and we suck, so let's just throw shit at the wall. And I've been the biggest proponent of throwing the most entertaining shit at the wall because I care very little about the politics, but I do care a little bit deep down about
I'm
politics.
interesting, actually, dude. This is to see you actually playing this role, Dan, is interesting for me. I like it.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, I have to see a real degenerate to be like, that's too black pill for me. So how do you square the white pill and the Franz pill in this of? Because again, like if we bring a bunch of people into the movement and they're all just there because a guy who screams about bitches and hoes and they like his art, like does that really add value to the movement or the party or anything? I mean, to some degree, certainly it will bring new people. Like they'll hear a little bit of something different from what they're used to hearing. But we've seen how that goes as far as those people sticking around.
To not get like religious or anything, I spent a couple years of my life being a missionary, and I consider this liberty evangelism. All right, and
and
going
you can get
back
as spiritual as
to
you want. I'm into it.
Where I was, there's a verse that says, Apollo planted the seed, Paul watered the seed, and God saw the growth. And to me, I'm seeing that in a different light. Whereas like we can plant a seed of libertarianism in somebody, and maybe somebody in the party can water that seed, and then they can go on to be a real libertarian, maybe the only real libertarian.
Right.
That can happen.
And it's possible,
Yeah.
I guess.
It is.
Or
Yeah,
they could
you're
plant
right.
a seed that the Libertarian Party is a place for partying and bitches and hoes and shit. And I mean,
That's
I don't know,
basically
there's-
what we have already, dude.
right, except for the bitches and hoes. We don't have any of those.
Yeah, there's definitely not enough bitches and hoes in the Libertarian Party.
Yeah.
Some bitches.
But some bitches. Yeah,
So-
sure.
So, I don't know. Like, do you have any level of concern that the cons will outweigh the pros in pushing something that's this extravagant and not as founded in principle?
No, I don't. So I can see the concern, and I understand why some people it's not their like something that they would want to support or do. And it like honestly, like I've taken so much criticism since this announcement that it's like I'm just kind of numb to it at this point. Like I understand they don't see where I'm at, and I see where they're at though. I get it because I've been a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
I've been there, and I've tried to keep people out of the party and out of groups that weren't as libertarian as me, or so it seemed, right?
Mhm.
And to me, I think that there's a huge opportunity here that is missing, and I'm just trying to find the best avenue of going out and infiltrating that. Like the Emo Caucus, we're going to be putting together like a street team and hopefully have people going out to shows and flyering and meeting bands and artists. Cause like if you can champion some bands and artists, that's really where you should be. But the music scene is filled with so many people that hate the government. And, I think that
It's also filled with a lot of lefties too. So
Sure.
it's hard to say. Like it's filled with a lot of people that say they hate the government but are very authoritarian, like Mr. Fronzak with his former pro-mask post that I'm sure has been shared with you 150 times by this point.
Oh man, hold on a second. You remember this? You remember these, dude?
I do.
Fucking Libertarian Party of California, dude.
Mhm.
Trying to make us wear those at the convention last year.
There was a lot of dumb people
years
back
ago.
then. Yeah.
I know.
sad.
And I've talked to him about that stuff, and he is 100% against any government-forced vaccine. He made posts about masking, and I don't think that the excuse was really great for me. I can't defend any of that stuff because I just completely disagree with it 100%. I would have never done that.
And to be
I've also
aggressive
never
about
been
it
a
just
musician.
puts him in the
He was
same breath
aggressive about
as
it.
a Karen with a potty mouth. Like,
Right. Well, like he was at risk of like losing his livelihood too. And I still don't think this is all the way like a way to, sacrifice any kind of principle, but he lived in Florida this whole time where, words out of his mouth, not mine, that they were the best on COVID and that they had the least amount of deaths and the least amount of old people dying and the least amount of family run businesses that were closing down. And, he said it's because there was not a lot of, at least, forced government action going against that, or going against the people on that. So, he's anti-government forced masking. He did push masking on people for some of his shows, and he was selling merchandise and masks for his shows. And he does make a lot of money on merchandise, and I would never do that. I'm not defending it. Yeah, I wouldn't defend it at all. So, and I can't, and I won't. At the same time, I've never been in his shoes. I don't know what he's going through. I've never been on his level. Like, they've tried to cancel him his whole life for sure. I don't think this would have canceled him if he came out and spoken against that publicly. Yeah. But his platform will state that he's against government forced masking and vaccines.
Is he vaxxed? Do you know?
He did have to, and he did not. He wishes that he never did. Yeah. Wow. And it's because he wasn't allowed to play in venues in a lot of cities if he hadn't been. So
that's rough, but that does mean that he caved quickly.
Yeah. He should come out against coercion. Yeah. We're big into that stuff. He should start talking about that.
Yeah.
I think that if he was willing to put out a video about that it would be very well received. And I think that it's necessary if he wanted the libertarian support, because really the biggest pushback and the most credible pushback that anyone can have against him is about that stuff.
Yeah. And I will say that whether or not he gets my endorsement, he certainly doesn't have it right now. It's fine. Like, I've got nothing against the dude. He's made some choices in life that I don't endorse, and he's not a candidate that I currently endorse, but the same as all the other candidates, if he wants videos that put out messaging that's like, fuck these masks, like if he wants to backpedal that shit, I'll help him backpedal real hard and go real fast in the other direction. But whatever. Yeah, even if he's just started putting out more stuff on his own, like, that's what I want to see, is him talking more about actual things rather than just, I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude, because we're all dudes. Hey.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get a little bit deeper here. But, stick around, and don't cut yourselves just yet, because there's more show right after this.
Damn it.
Today's episode is sponsored by Astero's Cybersecurity Services. These days, organizations of all sizes are targets for cyber criminals, disgruntled employees, or even nation-state attackers. Astero's performs cybersecurity services, providing expert guidance to help organizations defend against threats and protect their data. Astero specializes in penetration testing, where they perform ethical hacking on networks, web apps, or organizations as a whole, to simulate what an attacker would do and plug the discovered holes before anyone malicious finds and exploits them. Asteros also specializes in vulnerability management, security awareness training, phishing simulations, cloud security audits, compliance readiness assessments, and much more. As technology expands, it becomes easier and easier to run a business, but if your security is not growing along with your company, then you're going to run into problems. If you don't personally have a company of your own, definitely pass this information along to someone who does, because for a limited time, Asteros is offering companies an attack surface audit completely free. Let Asteros discover potential entry points to your network and how susceptible your company or organization is to cyber attacks. To learn more and to take advantage of this essential offer, just go to asteros.com/free. That's Asteros, ASTEROS.com/free.
And we are back. Welcome back. I don't know if we read this one. Fake super chat from Joey Two Guns. I'm a little slow, but did this guy say we need someone who isn't a good libertarian to be the libertarian messenger?
I doubt it. You didn't say that, did you, buddy?
Run the tape back.
That is not a quote.
That is not a direct quote.
That is not a quote.
No.
I'm not even paraphrasing that.
Yeah. Also, as I forgot to mention, if you have fake super chats, if you have any questions for Ben or any of us, we're not able to take actual super chats. I can't even say normal super chats without saying fake anymore. YouTube hates us, hates you, hates the Franz, hates Ben, hates everyone. So they don't let us take money through their service.
say anything, dude.
That's right. I hate everyone upon this cursed earth. Now,
have you thought about broadcasting this show on OnlyFans, bro? Get some tips.
That's a great idea. We should get Franz on the show and have him stream it only exclusively through his OnlyFans, and he can make bank off of it.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Except I doubt him talking to me would bring as much money as him felching. Anyway, now, so you being you're the campaign manager, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you vetted this guy. You know about the allegations and all that.
Yeah, huge fucking nothing burger, dude.
Okay. All I know is a little bit of Wikipedia and people shouting shit on the internet. So what do you know about that?
All right. Well, he was like 26 and party animal, and he'd get drunk after shows, and he's a fuck boy. He's in a band. He'd have lots of girls go to his tour bus and do all kinds of crazy things. And the girl that is his accuser, she told him it's public that she told him that she was 19. She admits to this. She said, I'm 19 years old. She said this in like public publications and everything. She ended up being 17. And then she comes out afterwards because Franz's ex had some kind of thing that she was trying to damage his credibility, which she really didn't need to do much. This girl came out and said that Franz was sleeping with her when she was 17.
Mm-hmm.
And she, like I said, she fully admits that she said she was 19.
Oh, well, fuck it. It's stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, like she like wrote it in the article that was calling him out for doing this. So it's like,
so it's revenge.
100%.
Her admitting to her own what's the word, entrapment for revenge from an ex. Like, yeah, fuck
like,
that shit.
And don't get me wrong, man. Like, do bands need to start like carding people every time? Like, I don't know. Like,
at this point, they should have to sign a waiver.
Because like, there's a really bad.
If they look like they're probably between 18 and 19, yeah, you should.
I mean, he was early 20s though, so.
Oh, okay.
Looked around the same age.
He's literally 26, man. I mean, it's if you're talking.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a difference, 6 years, whatever, 6.5 years.
But
But like
23, but I don't know.
no, he was 26.
It's not like he's 35 though. That's
No,
that's
he's literally gonna turn 35 like 2 months before he's sworn into office. So
Really, I respect that.
Awesome.
So his birthday is right before. So he's running.
he's actually
34
younger
now.
than me, dude.
Okay.
He turns 34 in November.
Wow. Okay.
So
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I dig it. Dave, you've been a little quiet. You've probably got you're a little bit more defensive of the good name of the Libertarian Party even than I am, I would suspect.
I'm just big on words and what they mean. Libertarian means a thing. I'm interested in preserving that word. So yeah, not the party so much, but yeah, the word.
So you got any thoughts? Any pushes so far?
Dude, I have a couple notes. Most of them are nice things about Ben, because I think that's important as we shit on this. Look, it is his birthday, and we're going to shit on this guy a little bit. We've already kind of declared last week that he's probably not our candidate. We can talk more about that for sure. Yeah. But I just wanted to say first, yeah, dude, I really like what you're doing. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I mean, the Mises Caucus, right? Take human action. You're out there, evangelizing, doing what you want to see the party do. And you reached out, you found a niche, but being an emo is a lot bigger than being a libertarian, right? Like Dan falls in that, Josh falls in that, Toad falls in that, this guy falls in that. I worked for Medina Lake. I did Warped Tour 3 times. It's not really my genre, but like I think that was a brilliant play, and it comes from the heart. Yeah, I'm the ska guy. No, I just think that that's great. I think that your idea of like kind of like mimicking the show model of like going out, setting up booths, just talking about like not even getting into the politics. I just think it's a great model for like achieving what you want to see the party do. So thanks. I applaud you on that, bro. And I mean, Ron Paul said, if we're going to have a revolution, we need music and young people. So like making it fun, having, like emo night, bro. I didn't get to go. I've never been to Pork Fest, but like when I saw pictures and people having fun and like enjoying their peers, that seemed like that was the most fun people had. So I just think that
great.
You're on something. You're onto something, and keep it up. I'll keep going with the compliments for a little bit. I think that I'm not gonna. I'm not. I'm
Wasn't
not gonna
asking
vote
you
for
for
this.
compliments, Dave. Wasn't asking
like,
you
look,
to give him a birthday
he-
suck off.
No. Listen, yeah, right. That's what I do on my show with my guests. It's always fluff pieces. But no, I think that this could be good for the LP, because I don't want to think that all of his fans, like all these metalhead emo kids or whatever they're called, I don't think that they're all OnlyFans, cum dumpster, fucking drug addict. I don't think that they're all that. I think that they're probably just normal music fans. So if they want to come in and they want to explore that shit, awesome. I mean, and we could use the help. And if they're really serious, like, and this is what Franz is going to have to know, like, if he wants to take over the party and make it more like him, then they're going to have to do the work that the Mises Caucus did that took like 3 election cycles. You know what I'm saying? So don't worry about, a swarm of fucking Franzes coming in. Like, it just can't happen like that. But it can happen slowly over time if they're dedicated. So, I mean, like, I don't know. That's something to look at. But no, bro, I just think what you're doing is cool. I think there's a world of difference between elevating a sex worker and tolerating one, and like saying that you can make money like that, and I wouldn't make it illegal. But I don't want to be led by that personally. But as you already said, bro, that's that. Just you understand it, and that's cool.
I'm not going to try to sell them to everybody, because I understand, like a lot of my friends, even here, I talk to them a lot about this, and there's absolutely nothing that I could ever say to have them give him a delegate vote or even support him in any way. And I get it. It's just not their thing, man. And for me, this is a lot bigger than just a presidential election, which to me, doesn't actually really mean that much. So,
it's a big tent party, man. No communists, no neocons. Everybody else, come on in.
We got plenty of degenerates.
Who did we have before June, man? Who did we have before June? Before Josh and Toad and Franz?
Right.
Let's be real. We had a freaking cop, dude, and 2 other guys.
Leave Mike Tremont alone. He's a nice guy. He is a nice guy.
He's a nice man. Yep.
Never support a police officer for president.
It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous that anybody would go for that.
Yeah. It does excite me having competition of more than one exciting person. Like, we were all in it for Dave Smith, I'm sure, and then Dave cowered it out, and now we've got Josh and the Franz and Toad, and not that Toad's all that exciting, but I mean, just people who aren't your pragmatic, buttoned-up politicians. But with that, I am a little bit curious to get into a little bit of the spiritual side of things, since you brought it up earlier. Where do you
by
land
the way,
on,
real quick,
on that? Sure.
You had mentioned Dave Smith. I would like to come out and say that Franz posted a picture on Twitter the other day with like a headband on. So Franz is the real Libertarian Tupac.
Oh, shit.
Dave doesn't get that anymore. So,
well, I mean, if Dave doesn't show up for the job, then I guess he doesn't get the job. So.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. On with the spiritual stuff.
Yeah. I am curious where you land on the spiritual side of things, because, like, I'm not like staunchly whatever the stereotype is of Christian, obviously, but I do have a little bit of a concern, like, even from a conspiracy standpoint, of people in politics are generally corrupt degenerates behind the scenes. You've chosen to take a guy who's corrupt and degenerate in front of the scenes and make him a politician. And I'm curious, just like from a moral standpoint, is there anything in you that's like, this is like pushing this type of culture on people?
There's nothing spiritually redeemable about the government.
Sure.
So I really, why not just put someone out there that actually probably represents what the government looks like to everybody?
Yes.
I don't know. So
has he ever killed anyone? That comes
like,
with the
how
job.
do I like justify putting someone up like that doesn't represent the same spiritual values? Is kind of what I'm getting.
Or like putting them up as, I mean, in some ways, whoever becomes the candidate is going to be a role model for somebody somewhere, in one way or another. So is this a guy that you want to say this should be your role model?
I mean, I wouldn't. I can say that I would necessarily. It really depends on what we're pushing here. Are we pushing just the only Franz stuff, or are
Ben,
we
do you want to
talking
lead a
about how
life
he
where
loves
you can
guns
pay?
and
Do you want to?
you know what I
Do you
mean?
want to lead a life where you can buy Lamborghinis in cash and fuck bitches all the time, or do you want to lead a moral and virtuous life? Which one would be better for you?
I mean, I choose to live a moral and virtuous life.
Seems like it.
I do.
Aside from your political choices.
there's not a whole lot about political parties that are spiritually redeemable or the government at all. So, you know, from that perspective, like I can understand why it might not seem to really line up a lot, but for me,
I mean,
the
I was
world
working on
is-
the Jorgensen campaign, and she had her sex dungeon or whatever the fuck was going on there. So, you know, we've all got our
No
things.
idea.
Wait a tick. I gotta hit. We're doing a whole episode about that later on.
After
Oh,
I
party.
knew
God.
it. I fucking knew it.
The after party just turned into emo music and Joe Exotic's, or not Joe Exotic.
Please tell me
Joe
Richard Manzo
Jorgensen
was there.
sex dungeon.
Oh my god.
Did
I need
Sarwark
Jack
get
Casey
cut
to
from
write
Joe
some.
Jorgensen's sex dungeon.
I
What's
need
that?
Jack Casey to start writing about her sex dungeon and
That's
this
true.
fucking stuff. It's a
Did-
great
did
fan
something that
fiction.
needs to be
Sarwark
talked about
get
more.
cucked in the Joe Jorgensen sex dungeon?
I have no idea what goes on there, but all I know are the rumors, and I have not visited, not yet. We'll see how this next election.
I've heard
cycle
she's
goes.
got some great whiskey choices, though.
Oh yes, she likes her bourbon
She's
or
hammered.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I get it. Like when it comes to politics, it's not like I aligned spiritually with Vermin Supreme. Other than, I mean, he was preaching a message of love and unity at the time. But with Franz, I mean, is it just that he's a big middle finger to the entire thing? Is that like the main selling point for you?
No, Franz legitimately like wants to help people. Like this is not like a troll campaign. He actually wants to see the better in the world. And he would like to put out a message of
What is the better in the
positivity
world? More bitches and hoes?
I mean, you can't take that. You can't take the game out of the player or whatever.
You can
However
take
they
the-
say it.
You can take the player out of the bitch, but you can't take the bitch.
He's
out of the
been
player.
very
I think that's it.
consistent about that over the last 12 years with his music.
But that's the thing, bro. Yo, 12 years ago he was like 21 though, and now he's a grown man. So I would tell Eminem, bro, it's not 2000 anymore. And you're 50 years old. Maybe you should relax. And, you know, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I understand. I get it.
I mean, Eminem's career has sucked for like the last 10 years, and people pushed him to the edge that he wrote Kamikaze, which is like amazing, and then he hasn't done anything since then. So maybe there is something to not relaxing. Maybe Eminem's just a little too relaxed.
So angry. You're so angry as an old man. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And like, you know, if you're still behaving like a young man, you know, Jordan Peterson talks a good game on that Peter Pan story. It's just like it's at a certain point.
When I was a
there's
child,
time
I
to
thought
grow
like a
up.
child. I behaved like
So
a
to
child.
be
When
fair,
I became a man, I
too,
put those childish ways behind me. Ringing any bells, missionary? Just kidding. I'm
To be
just being
fair, like there is a lot of things about being a famous musician that, like, I mean, I don't understand that level of, you know, whatever. But you know, when you're onto something and you have a formula for something and it sells, you stick with it. And a lot of bands do that their entire careers, even if it's not really all the way. I mean, I'm not saying that he's changed with that. Like, obviously his life kind of backs up what he's saying in his songs. So at least he's got that.
Yeah.
But
he is owning it at the very least.
Yeah, no, he's living it out, man. You know,
Yeah.
he's not just talking it. He's not just like, you know, some gangbanger talking about shooting up the streets on MTV.
As much as I don't respect a guy who posts online about felching, there's a level of honesty there that I have to commend a little bit. Like, well, you're gross, but at least you own it, and you're not going to Joe Jorgensen's sex dungeon or anything. So now, another point that was made in last week's after party, I asked Dave, and we'll see if he's changed his mind at this point. Dave, if you had a gun to your head right now, and you had to vote between Fronzak and Joe Exotic, who would it be? Has Ben changed your mind at all?
No, it'd be Joe Exotic.
How come?
Okay.
Because I think that, and honestly, we could get more into this if you want. And that's not, I hate that choice. That is a gun to the head. Like I wouldn't feel
He has
represented.
not said
by
that
Joe
about
Exotic.
any other candidate that I've put up against Joe Exotic. It's been every other candidate aside from Joe Exotic until now. So
Even Mike.
Yeah.
yeah,
Even Mike Tremont,
even Mike,
the cop.
So I
Dude.
think Dave, I think Dave, you've got some things.
I haven't even seen
No,
his
sure.
platform yet.
I don't even
So-
agree with Dave on
Okay,
this
well,
point.
if you have seen his platform, then while you're here, we should talk about that. But so far, I haven't heard him say anything about libertarianism. Just that it's the greatest day of my life. Criminals run Washington, and I'm fucking coming. Psh, let's fucking go. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm ready for it. Like when that comes out.
Right.
But bro, yeah, I know. Like it pains me. You're right. I was doing the same thing you were doing when it was Termot, Chase, and Lars. Just going, what the fuck? Like I didn't know that we were going to get started this early, but next time, I told the Mises Caucus guys, it's like, yo, even if you have your guy, even if you think Dave is locked in, you should have like 2, 3, 4 guys who are just running for president because it's a messaging campaign from the time that the last guy gets elected until the next time. That's how these election cycles work. That's how they keep us on edge all the time, always on the brink. So we should absolutely, keep Clint locked and loaded, ready just in case, like somebody that would meet the standards. I'm just talking about from my
Keep him
specific
Liberty
thoughts.
locked down, if some might
Right.
say. Huh?
I love that guy. I
Ugh.
mean, I wish that he would have put his name in, but I understand why he didn't. He's got a lot of stuff going on in his life, and he's very successful right now. And I mean, why would we distract him from what he's doing?
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully,
True that.
it could actually hurt liberty in the long run, potentially.
So real quick, before we get off that though, like the reason that I would select Franz last is because of his moral fiber. Like I think that Joe Exotic is kind of, he's funny and he's probably not to be taken seriously. Like I don't feel represented there. Mike, whoa. Mike the cop, like I don't feel represented by a cop, but I definitely feel icky. Like I need to take a shower after seeing some of his shit, dude. No offense. Like I'm a huge fan of yours. I think you're going to do some cool shit.
Thanks.
I think I'm really serious about that. But like, let me hit you with this one more question, because it's a good one. I hit libertarians with this often, and it's kind of a good gauge to see where people are on an issue. None of us would want to be represented by a cop. You'd prefer Franz. Dan, I'm not sure. He might take Termot over Franz. I think that he probably would. But if you okay, so yeah, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'll ask both of you though. Like Ben, do you have any kids?
No.
Okay, Dan's got kids, so this might be different. But would you rather your kid grow up to be a sex worker or a cop? So
Hands
something
down, a sex worker.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Hands down,
I've
because
heard
the
some
government
people
is a
say that.
monopoly on violence, and the facilitators of that are the people in our backyards. That's why I ran for sheriff. I hate the cops, dude. Like, there's like nothing in this world. Like, there are
It's
some
a
good
principled
cops in
answer.
the like,
I'm
world,
not gonna lie.
allegedly. I haven't really met a ton of them, but these guys are the boot. Like, sex workers are not the boot. If we're trying to fight up
I don't
against
know,
the government,
man. I
But-
can't
but-
post
but-
anything without having OnlyFans bitches like commenting on everything. Like I can't go a day without getting like several comments that are just or not necessarily on my stuff, but you're like just reading through an article. Somebody's like, I like Twinkies, and they're like, check out my OnlyFans, and they post a picture of their ass. Like they are becoming the boot. They're gonna take
Guys,
over before
I didn't ask.
2024.
I didn't
these
ask
OnlyFans
which job would you prefer there be more people of, or like which industry should
you're asking
thrive
about
more.
my
I asked you,
child.
your child. Which
Right.
would you rather your child live a life of serving,
Hey,
of
man.
showing her butthole, felching stuff on TV for old perverts, or
Yeah.
you get a job where they probably, your kid might be the boot, but they probably won't be the boot, and they'll have a pension plan and probably a house, and that could lead a healthy life for your kid.
And fuck dogs.
So-
am I right? Fuck those dogs.
Don't get me
That's
wrong.
that's
Like,
a choice.
both of those choices to me, like I feel like I would prefer them to dream higher. All right.
I would.
Certainly.
You all would agree with that. It's a tough choice. I'm just saying that. If
Ben's
you-
like, I'd
if
rather
you're-
they stay home and cut themselves listening to Hawthorne Heights than be either of those things. So
But also, a police officer would exist in Ancapistan, so it's not like
Sure.
you wouldn't have cops. So that's
Sure,
something
but
to acknowledge
yeah.
too. Okay.
Yeah, I get that, but also at the same time, the natural progression for 15 to 20% of every emo chick is to become a single mom that has an OnlyFans.
That should be okay. I thought you were serious, and I kind of, there might be some seriousness.
Complete joke, dude.
But that should be combated. Like, Dan, you're right. Like, listen, guys, everything comes back to economics, right? So if there's no economic opportunity, like I've been to 49 states, I've been to Middle America, all of it. This is Trump country, and you'll see signs now that say "now hiring" on like a police outfit, police department, like or the recruiters are showing up to high schools to get kids. So it's like your sons or your daughters, whatever, are going to go into like some kind of security force, because it's either that or Walmart, right? Or your daughters. Why not hustle? Why not just enter the black market in some way? Sell drugs if you live in the hood. Sell your felching videos on OnlyFans or whatever. Like what's in it for me? And if we're only chasing the bucks, like, I know we're capitalists, but damn it, man, like there's more to life than just libertarianism and like, the statist shit. Like, we do live in the empire. We got to deal with that, but fuck.
Morally, I think that it's not okay. So like realistically, they're probably on like a very similar moral plane for a lot of people. But truthfully, I do think that violence.
Did you just say Franz is the same morally as a cop?
No, because I think that cops choose violence, and Franz is not a violent person.
Right. Well, you said they're morally on the same plane, so
that's not kind of what I was for myself.
If I misunderstand, continue.
No, yeah, truthfully, like violence is worse than having sex for money. Period. And police officers are facilitator of said violence. So. I could never get behind that.
They support a system that upholds that, but anybody who pays taxes does. So
but I'm also not a pipe dreamer though too. So like you had mentioned Ancapistan, and maybe I'm just too black pilled. That's just never going to happen. It's just never going to happen. We're never going to have a privatized police force. Not in my lifetime. It's just not going to happen. I'm a complete realist here. Yeah. Not even in New Hampshire. Not even in the free state of New Hampshire will we have Ancapistan. Now, the best thing I can do is run for sheriff again and win and nullify all the laws. We're close at that point, but we're still going to have a boot. So, for me, violence will always be more morally outrageous than selling yourself for money. Absolutely.
Hard to argue with. Don't like either one, but not currently voting for either one either.
It's fine.
Yeah. So, what are some of the next steps for the campaign? What do you guys have planned? You mentioned a couple like show canvassing and stuff like that. What do you guys got going on?
So for me, I'm trying to get the website up within the next week. I was supposed to have it up last week, and my job has been crazy, and it's I don't know, it's been crazy. But I'm gonna get that up with this platform and everything. From that point forward, we're going to try to do some regular media content. He's got some big podcasts that have hit us up to go on. And, we'll try to get him on like Tim Pool and stuff too, to talk. I know that like Phil Labonte wanted to maybe have him on Culture War Show, possibly. But get him on, hopefully I can get him to come out to some conventions. I honestly don't think it's probably going to happen. To too many at least. If I go to like the Florida convention, he lives there, so like he's more likely to be there. But we can't really schedule ourselves around that stuff because he's touring at the same exact time. And right now it's impossible to coordinate. So
do you think that'll be a problem? I saw you post something on Twitter or X. Has anybody typed in x.com ever, or do you still type in Twitter? Side note.
I call it Twitter.
Right. But when you go to search on the internet, do you type in X or do you type in Twitter?
I don't use Twitter on my laptop.
All right, never mind. Anyway, so I saw you mention on X that he's planning on doing podcasts soon, but probably not that many libertarian ones.
Potentially,
what's the reason behind that?
Because a lot of libertarian podcasts are going to turn it into a purity test. And that's not what we're here for. This isn't a purity test for us. Now, I get it. Like there's a lot of things that need to be addressed and talked about, and we can do that still. But you
Yeah,
know,
there is legitimacy to not from a purity test standpoint, but what do you stand for standpoint? Like
yeah,
getting the questions from the libertarians, same as like Vivek and who else? RFK going to Porkfest. There were some people that bitched about that because they're like, whatever, everybody's on all sides of those things. But I'm like, if we can ask these Republicans, Democrats, libertarian questions and get their thoughts on libertarian values, I think that has value. And yeah, I think I'm not saying he should go on like every single little libertarian podcast that reaches out to him, but some of the
He'll
bigger
go on a
ones I think
few.
would be valuable.
Yeah, with some of the bigger ones. So go on a few for sure. You know, we're trying to arrange that. You know, I'm kind of working with other people to try to make that stuff happen. But you know, really, like, I'm not trying to get him into some kind of debate with one of the other candidates because that's just stupid. Truthfully, I just think that would be just I think it'd be counterproductive.
Why is that?
Because like I said, it's not a purity test. Like I love you know, Josh and Toad and stuff, and those guys kick ass. They have their pretty base standpoints or platforms. And I honestly just think it would just turn into something that it shouldn't be. Because like that's just not.
If you think, I mean, he's your guy. If you want to run this guy to represent the not just represent the whole party, but the whole country, you don't think he's not Donald Trump, bro? He can't just like be like, well, I'm over here because I'm at 70%. He has to introduce himself to the party.
Yeah,
it's
that
not just Amash
No,
either.
I know. I like I said, like we're talking to some podcasts, and I'm gonna start scheduling some of this stuff, you know, probably for this fall. So like I don't like think there'd be any issues. Like he'd come on here and defend himself to you guys for sure. You know, but also like I know that there's some people.
It's kind of weird that if he would have to just defend himself all the time. Like if you want to run for president in the Libertarian Party, you should be like, people are like, whoa, this guy's running for president in my party. Word. Like why should that be the default?
His answers to me should always be, I'm not an anarchist. This isn't a purity test. I'm running for office because blank. That's what it should be. And truthfully, that's what his campaign should look like. I want him to represent libertarian values, the ones that he holds. You know, he's very pro Second Amendment and pro free speech. You know, he's against transing kids, which is the normal position. You know, like he's got a lot of like really good takes, you know, like it's just, we bring him into a situation where everybody has pretty much the same viewpoints. They're just going to crucify him on things like sex work and obviously some of the allegations he's had. Right. And we can address those all day, but he doesn't want to talk about allegations that mean nothing, that have never meant anything. And defend himself on.
Yeah, if he came on this show, we would spend a lot less time talking about those things, more time talking about actual issues. But
right.
As of now, we don't have that many issues to really talk about.
I don't think that there'd be a lot of podcasts or people, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think there's be a lot of people that would not focus on that. I think that's a big deal to a lot of people. So, yeah.
Well, that comes with the territory. I mean,
for sure.
Especially in politics. We've all seen how Josh has been treated over the years in politics, just from libertarians alone. So there will be arrows slung and people who are more degenerate than him attacking him from left.
Dan, why didn't you run, dude? Why didn't you run for president? You're only running from president.
That's right. I am officially running for president in 2024. If you couldn't tell. We had actually talked about it. Like I had talked about like, which I don't think we've talked about this on a public episode yet, but me and Dave had talked about like me just when there wasn't anything of edge, like nothing even against Mike Tremont or Chase Oliver or Jacob Hornberg or whatever. They just weren't going to represent me, and I was like, well, somebody's got to shake this up a little bit. So I was like, maybe I would dip my toe in, and just as mine would be absolutely as a joke, as a troll, and my intention was to fake run. I mean, whatever that means. If you say you're running, you're running. To run, and then as soon as Dave Smith or somebody that I want to run came out of the woodwork, finally, I would drop out and immediately endorse him, and the whole value would be just to endorse whoever I wanted. Then, you know, life is more important than politics and sometimes more important than fun. And I don't need the drama in my life right now with all the things going on in my life. But I wouldn't necessarily be opposed in the future to it would almost definitely be a troll campaign.
Emo Caucus needs a representative. The only way I've been able to find somebody to represent the Emo Caucus is just by asking the question. So do you want to run for the Emo Caucus in 2028, Dan?
Do I want to? Yes. I will give you a definitive yes, I want to. Will I? Doubtful. Talk to me in 4 years. We'll go from there.
Let's team up, dude. Me and you together. Dream team, bro. Come on.
We're going to have to start campaigning now so I can get up to the level of the Franz. But
for sure. Yeah. Working out like RFK, because I mean, if I'm not shredded by 2028, dude, I've got no chance. So.
Right. Get shredded and start an OnlyFans, and you get to go. That's all it takes.
Well, in my OnlyFans, I'm just going to be showing people how to properly clean guns. Lubing them up real good.
It's hot.
What I'm saying.
That's right.
People don't know how to clean their guns, dude. So.
Yeah, that's true. Guys in the chats, time is wrapping up. So if you got fake super chats, any question for Ben here or any of us, put all caps fake super chats and let us know as we're getting close to the end. But Dave, you got any more pushback? It seemed like we were going in a direction there and we kind of got off on a tangent, but I'm ADHD or something, so it's hard to say.
No, there's not a whole lot of pushback because I think Ben knows where I'm coming from. My concern. I think
there's not much to argue with at the moment.
No, absolutely. And like I said, I'm more appreciative of anybody who's trying to bring people into the party and start a caucus. It can be as niche as that. It can be your own thing, and all you kind of have to do is show up. Dude, you brought your equipment to PorkFest one time, and now they booked you for the next time. It's incredible how much cool shit can happen once you just start a thing. Right. So go fucking start a thing.
Really, to me, I kind of just want to start a fire, dude. There's so many, the party has lost its fire. I don't know how that's happened, but between all of the inter-party politics and stuff, I'm not saying that there's not people working very hard and doing really cool shit and trying to make it happen, but with all the pushback, it's so hard for them to get shit done.
Right.
And it is so annoying. Seeing
as soon as the committees get involved, nothing works.
As soon as the committees get involved, as soon as our own bureaucracy, which is something we hate, gets involved, it turns into something that's not fun. It's work. It's completely turns off other people. But we need to bring a fire to people, because people that are coming into the party right now, they're going to look at this man and they're going to be like, fuck that. I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I'm going to go wherever is over here. But I just want to start a fire, man. And I think the music scene is a great place to start that fire. And I'm doing it here in New Hampshire and going to shows in Boston and doing what I can to do it in my own community. And I'm hoping that once I get a couple more helpers around, that other people will do the same thing. And this doesn't have to, the Emo Caucus is not going to take over the Libertarian Party, but I absolutely want us to, be a good example to people in the music scene that already want a fuck you vote. They already want to hate the government and they're open about it. Some of these people might even already be anarchists or libertarian leaning. So if we can just point them in the right direction and, and then get them here and guide them into better philosophy, it's a win. It's a win.
We need more Phil Labantes, man. It's tough. Dan, you said it. There's so many leftists, but there's also so many people, I know some personally, that can't say the way that they feel politically because they still want to get booked. Yeah. So they just stay completely out of it. So that to make an environment, to curate an environment where it's safe, yo, look, this guy over here, he's doing just fine. He came out as a fucking libertarian or whatever, anarchist, and he's still making music and whatever. Maybe he gets some shit online, but life is still okay. Life goes on and you can have a career. That's if you can show that to some people. And bro, the taking human action of just going out there and saying to somebody, yo, you should do this. This is a lot of Mike Heiss's success, man. He gets on the phone and says, yo, have you ever thought about doing this? Yo, have you ever checked this out?
Dude, ask the question.
Yeah. So the squeaky wheel gets the grease, man. Just tell people what
Yeah.
you want. It's fucking crazy what happens.
Yeah, and I have found in my working with libertarians over the years, like, I didn't set out to be a political campaign ad guy. I made music videos and stuff. Like, I made fun videos and wedding videos that are kind of like, I made that into my own kind of music video type thing. With these political ads, like, I was just like, this needs to be more fun. This needs to be like movie trailers and music videos and stuff, like the stuff that actually speaks to people, and it doesn't come from a committee hiring out a video firm that committees their political ad into something. Like, just doing the thing is been the thing that I've been pushing, and I commend you for just doing the thing. Like, stop waiting for somebody else to start the fun music thing or whatever, or make the videos and whatever. Stop waiting for somebody to make the memes even. Like, whatever you love doing, find a way to do it, and maybe incorporate a little bit of libertarianism into it. So hat goes off to you for, finding a niche and digging into it, man, for sure.
Thank you.
All right, I think that's enough abuse for your birthday. That's enough of a birthday spanking. We'll jump over to the after party and get into a couple more things here. But if you are not in the Downers Club, go to patreon.com/The System Is Down and sign up for that right now. Supports the show, gives me a little bit of money to feed my children, and also will, give you all this fun, spicy bonus content. If you want to hear me and Dave being unfiltered and not reserving our thoughts on this, I don't feel like we did that much today. I don't think we reserved that much. We gave you pretty much all the points that we made last week, but it was all fresh last week, and so we might have been a little bit more aggressive with it. But Ben, thank you so much for being here, man, and for doing what you're doing for the most part. For the most part. Just kidding. No, keep up the great work. Let people know where they can find stuff about you, the campaign, the caucus, and everything you got going on, dude.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to or have a Twitter, follow me on Twitter, the Emo ANCAP. But also on Facebook, we have the Emo Caucus page, Libertarian Party Emo Caucus. Join that. Lots of good music being dropped in there every day. We got memes. And then we've got, and also we have a Twitter account that's kind of just starting out. If you'd like to be involved with the LP Emo Caucus street team, message me directly on Facebook or on Twitter, and we'll make that happen. I'll send you some flyers, and I'll tell you what you need to do. So yeah, that's that. Also, fuck the police.
Amen. Minus the satanic symbols. But I was going to make a point to something you just said, but it doesn't matter now. Dave, where can people find you and all the things that you do?
Yeah, they can find me on Twitter, Dave VS Goliath 1, and on YouTube, Dave versus Goliath. I just had Josh Smith on the other day, and I have another presidential candidate, Toad, coming up next Monday.
Nice.
And then one that the Mises Caucus will be running soon. I think that announcement's coming out soon. We'll be on in a couple weeks. So, follow me up.
Very cool. All right. And thank you to all of you for being in the chats and, being all chatty. I appreciate it. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I think my recording has stopped somewhere along the way because I ran out of room on my computer as well. So who knows what's going to happen and how much I'll have to clean up after this. But hopefully you guys can all hear us. And, we're going to keep the party going. So come join us in the after party. And until next time, question everything, stay uncomfortable, be bad, have fun, all the things. Vote your conscience. And we'll talk to you then.
Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here is how the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong.